What do you think is people's perceptions around your sort of self-harm, and so sort of society's behaviours towards you? You sort of touched on for you it's about that emotional deregulation, that lack of emotional regulation. But how do you think society kind of sees this? Because what I think is really important is we educate society. That's a whole the aim of these videos. Let's educate society and employers so they can fully understand, and that's the start. I think it's really important. So what do you think then is society's perception of self-harm, and with what you're about to say, can you change how societies see this?
Okay, so I think that society views self-harm sometimes as attention seeking, sometimes as a cry for help, and sometimes as like a pathway to suicide. For me personally, I do struggle with suicidal ideation, but I don't actively want to kill myself. I don't self-harm to kill myself. I don't self-harm in areas that people can see them, because I don't want people to know about it. For me, it's a very private form of expressing my emotions. I think cry for help, I think, is a bit of a tough one, because I definitely do need help. Yes. But I'm receiving that help. It's something, self-harm still goes on when you're receiving help. It's not that you receive help and it will immediately stop. I think that it would be helpful for society to understand that self-harm doesn't mean that you want people's attention on you. It doesn't mean that you want to die. For some people, it's just the only way that they can release an emotional build-up, because they've not learned of better, more healthy ways to do it.
Okay, that's really helpful. Thank you. I think conversations I've had with people, I think when they see cuts on people's arms, they do automatically think that they have done these cuts to obviously, because it's an attempted suicide, basically. So that's really helpful in what you said, and that it's, your way to manage your kind of emotions and regulate, really. Thank you. We just sort of touched on it in a way, but how would you like society to engage with you? And I think people are really nervous. So if people, you were showing earlier on that there's nothing visible on your arms, but maybe for other people that have marks on their arms, how do you think people that self-harm or have visible self-harm marks would like society to engage them? Because they wouldn't understand, and they would see that the scars and the cuts on their arms, and they would be very nervous that they might say the wrong thing. So what advice could you give to anybody that does engage and see somebody that has visible marks of self-harm?
I think it's really important to not stare, because obviously a large misconception is that people are doing it to attention seek, but a lot of the time people with self-harm, because they are so emotionally fueled, they don't even think about where they're self-harming.
Okay.
So we don't want to draw attention to it. We don't want you guys to be staring at us. And a lot of people, it's a touchy subject to talk about in themselves, so approaching it directly isn't always the best course, I don't think.
So if I was to sort of see somebody and I was sat next to them, don't stare, don't ask them about it, because it's their private information. If they want to talk about it, then that's their choice. Then do you think that's what you're saying?
Yeah, I think that's definitely the case. If it's someone that you don't know, if it's someone close to you, I think it's a bit of a different story, because you know how close you are with that person, the sort of things that you'd be able to talk about. But in society as a whole, in general, just to be treated like normal, like a normal person that doesn't have self-harm scars, I think is really important, because it helps us to feel comfortable.
So I've generally seen arm cutting and some sort of leg cutting, but for somebody that's kind of never seen it, they may be aware of things, but they've never seen it. It would be quite hard for them not to kind of react and kind of go, can I help you? Or, gosh, what's happened? Or something like that. So that's going to be quite hard for them, isn't it? But again, I suppose, as your message said, as you just said, don't react, basically, and it's your private information to share if you choose to do that.
Yeah, I think in this, I know that it can be difficult to not react, but in the same way, if you saw a physically disabled person, you wouldn't stare at them, because you wouldn't want to make them feel uncomfortable.
Yes.
Just because that our self-harms come from an invisible disability, you should still be treating it with the same caution, still wanting to make those people feel comfortable.
So I think, that was my sort of final question in this section about how would you like society to help you feel included. So that is, treat somebody who self-harm the same way as somebody who doesn't self-harm, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think so. I think so.
And not make an issue when signs are visible.
Yeah, because it's a very private topic for the majority of us.